If you drink a glass of warm milk before bed every single night because you think it helps your brain rest and recover, stop. Because new research suggests that habit may actually be speeding up the very cognitive decline you are trying to prevent. And if you are over 70, the damage may already be happening right now, tonight, while you sleep. Stay with me, because by the end of this video you are going to understand exactly why so many seniors are silently losing brain function year after year, despite doing everything their doctors told them to do. I am going to show you the shocking truth behind that 1% figure you may have heard, but probably did not take seriously enough. And I am going to give you a simple, science-backed daily practice that costs nothing, requires no prescription, and that you can start tonight before you go to sleep. This is not about supplements. This is not about expensive programs. This is about something far more basic that most people over 60 are getting completely wrong every single day. Do not click away. What you are about to hear could change the next decade of your life. Here is the number that keeps neurologists up at night. Starting around the age of 60, the average human brain loses roughly 1% of its volume every single year. 1% does not sound like much. But think about it this way. By the time you are 75, you may have lost 15% of the brain tissue you had at 60. And by 80, if nothing changes, that number can climb even higher. That is not a slow, gentle fade. That is a measurable, trackable collapse happening inside your skull right now, while you go about your daily routine thinking everything is fine. Studies published in major neuroscience journals have shown that approximately 40% of people over 65 already have some measurable level of cognitive impairment, and most of them have absolutely no idea. They are not forgetting where they put their keys every now and then. They are experiencing real, structural changes in the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for forming new memories, recognizing familiar faces, and finding the right word when you need it. And here is the part that should alarm you the most. These changes begin silently. You do not feel them. You do not notice them until the damage has been building for years. Research from the Rush Memory and Aging Project, one of the longest-running studies on brain aging ever conducted, found that cognitive decline in seniors is far more common and far more advanced than most people realize by the time symptoms become obvious. By the time you start worrying about your memory, you may already be 5 to 10 years into the process. If you are over 60, you cannot afford to wait and see. The window to protect your brain is not 10 years from now, it is right now. Now let us talk about what is actually causing this, because this is where it gets disturbing. And I want to be very direct with you here because most mainstream medical conversations dance around this topic or water it down to the point where it is useless to you. The number one driver of accelerated brain aging is not what most people think. It is not just genetics. It is not just getting older. It is chronic, low-grade inflammation inside the brain itself. Scientists call it neuroinflammation. And the shocking truth is that some of the most common daily habits that seniors have been told are perfectly safe, or even healthy, are quietly feeding that inflammation around the clock. That warm milk before bed I mentioned at the start, here is why it matters. Dairy contains a type of sugar called lactose, and as we age, most adults become significantly less efficient at processing it. When lactose is not properly broken down, it can trigger an inflammatory response in the gut. And here is what mainstream medicine is only now beginning to take seriously. The gut and the brain are directly connected through something called the gut-brain axis. When your gut is inflamed, that inflammation travels directly to your brain. Never underestimate this connection. It is one of the most powerful and most ignored relationships in human health. But that is not the worst part. The worst part is that this gut-to-brain inflammation pathway runs silently. You might not have stomach pain. You might not feel bloated. Your body may simply be running a low, quiet, constant inflammatory signal straight to your brain tissue every single night while you sleep, and you have no idea it is happening. Year after year, 1% at a time. And dairy is just one piece of this picture. Refined sugar follows the exact same path. A single can of a sweetened drink, a small cookie with your afternoon tea, a bowl of cereal in the morning. These are all triggering the same inflammatory cascade in your gut and sending those signals north to your brain. The research on this is not fringe science. It has been published in journals like Nature Neuroscience and the Journal of Neuroinflammation. The inflammation-cognition link is real. It is measurable. and it is being largely ignored in the 15-minute appointment your doctor has time to give you. Now let us talk about what your doctor is probably not telling you. I am not here to attack physicians. Most of them are doing their best within a system that is not designed to prevent disease. It is designed to treat it after it appears. That means your doctor is waiting for you to show up with a diagnosis before the real conversation starts. And by then, for your brain, significant damage may already be done. What the research is revealing, and this is the breakthrough that should be on the front page of every newspaper, is that the brain is far more capable of protecting and even partially restoring itself than we were ever taught. There is a process called neuroplasticity, which simply means your brain can build new connections, strengthen existing pathways, and to a real degree, compensate for areas that have been damaged. This happens at 60. It happens at 70. It even happens at 80. Your brain is not a fixed, declining machine. It is a living, adaptable organ that responds to what you do every single day. But here is what activates that process. Here is what actually turns on your brain's natural protection and repair systems. It is not a pill. It is not a scan. It is not a referral to a specialist. It is something so fundamental that the fact it is not the first thing every doctor tells every patient over 60 is honestly a kind of quiet scandal. It is sleep architecture. Not just sleep, but the quality and structure of your sleep. Specifically, something that happens during deep sleep that most people over 60 are unknowingly destroying. During the deepest stages of sleep, your brain activates what scientists now call the glymphatic system. Think of it as a cleaning crew that only works the night shift. This system pumps cerebrospinal fluid through your brain tissue to flush out toxic waste products, including a protein called beta amyloid, which is directly associated with Alzheimer's disease. When your glymphatic system works properly, it silently clears out the daily buildup of neurological debris that would otherwise accumulate and accelerate cognitive decline. When it does not work properly, and this is the critical point, that debris stays in your brain, it accumulates, and it is toxic. Here is what is destroying your glymphatic system's ability to do its job. Alcohol within 3 hours of sleep. Eating within 2 hours of sleep. Blue light from screens. Sleeping flat on your back. And yes, inflammatory foods like refined sugar and dairy consumed in the evening hours. All of these disrupt the deep sleep stages where the glymphatic cleaning process happens. And most seniors, through no fault of their own, are doing several of these things every single night. So here is what you can start doing tonight. These are not difficult changes. They do not cost money. And the evidence behind them is serious, peer-reviewed science, not wellness trends. First, stop eating at least 2.5 to 3 hours before you go to bed. When your digestive system is still working while you sleep, your body cannot drop into the deep restorative stages that activate the glymphatic system. This one change alone can make a measurable difference in your cognitive clarity within 2 to 3 weeks. Second, if you drink alcohol, even a small amount of wine with dinner, move it earlier or consider eliminating it entirely in the evenings. Alcohol is one of the most powerful disruptors of deep sleep architecture ever identified. It may make you feel drowsy faster, but it fragments the deep sleep stages your brain desperately needs. It silently robs your brain of its cleaning cycle night after night. Third, try sleeping on your side rather than your back. This sounds almost too simple to be true, but research from the University of Rochester published in the Journal of Neuroscience found that the glymphatic system actually works more efficiently when the body is in a lateral, side-sleeping position. It is a free, effortless adjustment that could be doing real work for your brain every single night. Fourth, get natural light into your eyes within the first 30 minutes of waking up. Not through a window, actually go outside. This resets your body's internal clock, strengthens your circadian rhythm, and directly improves your ability to reach deep sleep that night. Dr. Andrew Huberman's work at Stanford on circadian biology has brought this practice into serious scientific focus, and it is one of the most powerful and most overlooked tools available to aging brains. Fifth, and this one connects everything we talked about today, cut inflammatory foods, especially refined sugar and processed dairy, out of your evening meals. Replace them with foods that support your gut microbiome, which, as we discussed, sends direct signals to your brain. Leafy greens, olive oil, berries, walnuts, fermented foods like unsweetened yogurt or kimchi. These are not magic foods, but they calm the gut-brain inflammatory pathway that is otherwise running silently against you every night. You can start every single one of these things tonight. You do not need a prescription. You do not need a referral. You need to understand what is happening inside your body and make the decision to stop cooperating with your own decline. Here is what I want you to take away from everything we covered today. Your brain is not doomed. The 1% loss is not inevitable. It is heavily influenced by the daily environment you create inside your own body, especially in the hours before and during sleep. The glymphatic system is real. The gut-brain connection is real. Neuroplasticity at your age is real. The research exists. And you now know what most people your age will never be told by their doctor in a 15-minute appointment. The most important thing you can do right now, besides starting tonight with these changes, is share this video with someone you love who is over 60. Not because it is interesting, because it is urgent. Someone in your life is making the same habits every evening that are quietly working against their brain, and they do not know it. Be the person who told them. If you found this valuable, please subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a new video. Dr. Arthur Wells publishes new research-backed content every week for people who are serious about protecting their health and their independence as they age. Because staying sharp, staying free, and staying yourself, that is worth fighting for. And you now have the tools to do exactly that.